Welcome, Solara here. Happy equinox, happy astrological new year. I hope you guys are doing well. Before I even begin to get into what I will be sharing with you today, I just want to give you a real heartfelt thanks to those of you who sent me more decks. I received them over the weekend. I was overwhelmed because it was Mother's Day here in the UK on Sunday, and it was like I was getting all of these gifts from you guys, and it meant a lot. It meant a lot. I carry a lot of Divine Mother energy, so I tend to help oftentimes people with their mother wounds, for better or for worse, whether I, magnify them because I don't want to deal with them, or whether it's just they want the healing and my energy can provide that. So it just seemed so interesting that the weekend before the new year, with all of this stuff going on, that I'd be so, I'd receive all of these gifts from you. And so I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you again. I want to thank each and every one of you who has contributed on my journey so far. And you all have, whether it is that you sent a deck, or whether you tune into my readings, you comment, you email me, and you tell me what's going on, and you encourage me and let me know that my work is helping you, or you donate, or you book me for services. All of that is helping not only me to grow my light, but it's helping you to do the same with your own energy. There's something about that exchange and purity that helps us all to grow in our light. So I want to say thank you. So today I'm going to actually do a reading. I have downloads, I do, but I'm not going to get into them right now because the energy is a little bit thick and shifty, and it's exhausting. All of these activations coming into the planet right now is exhausting. And then on top of it, for me to go deep into downloads, sometimes it's easier to navigate that energy, and sometimes it's easier to use cards. And right now I'm feeling like it's lighter on my energy field to use cards. So that's what I'm going to do. And I will get to the downloads when I'm feeling this energy shift a little bit. I will tell you ahead of time that we are in a space, and the Virgo full moon set it off, and it's like the Aries new moon is like solidifying this energy. We are now being called to deal with our physical reality. So a lot of what we've been called to do so far has been to see what's happening spiritually so we can deal with it, clear our mental reality, so clear all of those external commands that would then cause us to emote. And as we realize what the commands were over our own fields, whether they were projections or words of other people, conditioning, programming, and then things we've internalized and taken on as our own messages, once we began to recognize that and the corresponding emotion that it exploited, whether it was fear, guilt, shame, once it came up for us to see, it was automatically being cleared. And now we're moving more into the physical reality of dealing with the things that have blocked us in our physical, in our real material reality now. And so as such, one big energy that's coming up right now is the reclamation of our health. And it has been an ongoing theme throughout Ascension, but especially I noticed the energy started to shift into this area more as we got closer to the full moon in Virgo. And now it's like Spirit is ready to share this information, and not for nothing. With the equinox, that's the energy of balance, where there's equal night and day, no matter where we are on the globe. That's a rebalancing of energies. That's a reset. So as such, whenever these equinox energies come around, there are different plants that start to sprout wherever you are in the world. Classes of plants that are in alignment with what it is that you're here to do at that time. So whenever we have spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, for example, we see a lot of what we like to call the weeds. People dismiss them as being weeds when they are actually the most potent medicines because they are survivalists. But we see the weeds popping up that are all about elimination. And our elimination, our organs of elimination, they assist the organs of elimination get back on track and plants that are specifically geared towards our lymphatic system and our circulation and everything that's really important for the delivery of certain nutrients, or you could say the delivery of certain energies that are here to sustain and enliven us. So, as such, this is what is coming up in the messages. It's very interconnected with this, because now more than ever, there's a very strong call for us to come back into union with the earth. And as such, this is going to be a big focus for many of us moving forward. How we take back our union with Gaia, how we learn to interact again on a spiritual level also, because many of us, like for me, for example, I went to school to do medical herbalism, right? But while it was Western herbalism, I went to university for, and while it was helpful, it opened the door for me. It didn't even begin to skim the surface on the power of what these medicines actually are, because it left out the spirit, and the spirit of a plant is everything. So we are waking up to our oneness again with the earth and reestablishing that relationship in balance. We are this alpha omega portal. I know I said I wasn't going to go into the downloads, but I'm not going to go into the fullness of them, I should say. The alpha and the omega portal opened a union window, and as such, the main areas of union that we're accessing now, it's union with self, which opens the door to union with other divine partners and co-creators, which is also bolstered and rooted in our growing union with the earth. So that's a very big energy right now. And if you've been feeling very, discombobulated, that's one of my daughter's favorite words right now. If you've been feeling discombobulated, or you've been feeling this energy of, it's confusion and it's chaos, but it's almost controlled chaos and confusion, how I've been experiencing it. And it serves a purpose, and there's a reason behind it. Yes, there's fuckery. Yes, there is fuckery. A lot of death energy being thrown once again, but I'm tired of talking about all the fuckery. But beyond that, why it's happening, why the confusion and the storm-like energy, but it's still kind of controlled, is because we've been receiving mammoth solar activations that are designed to activate our DNA and to further dismantle the very dense energies that are at the root of how they made the matrix possible. So as such, whenever there's a big shift, whether it's, not whether, this time around, and a lot of the time it's brought about, the shifts are brought about, like the planetary shifts, what's happening astrologically, what's happening in the solar weather, but the shifts occur because of what's happening in terms of what's hitting the earth, but also how we're responding to that energy. It's all interconnected. So as Gaia clears some of her denser energies, we as bridges between heaven and earth sometimes feel that, because we're here to clear that, and in doing that, we're also furthering that energy of clearing, if that makes sense. We are already working together with Gaia, and we have been from the beginning, even if we were working out of balance. I'm not going to, get too deep in that. In other words, we've never been able to separate ourselves fully from the earth any more than we were able to separate ourselves fully from self. It's why, even though we may have acted as if we were separate from Gaia, what happened was it caused us more distress, because anytime we choose separation in where we're supposed to be in union, it fuels distress and stress. But I say all of that because whenever these big shifts occur, in order for the activations and the light to come in and to root and to ground and to change things, it must kick up the dense energies that up until that point have kept the light out. So as such, whenever we have these huge shifts, we're always kicking up like the densest of energies, and they will come into our lives in accordance with what it is that we need to clear on a personal level, or in our relationships, if they're still, karmic in nature, or even if they're not karmic in nature, karmic energies that need to be cleared so that our divine partnerships can ascend to a higher level. So I say all of that because when the shifts come and the dense energies get kicked up, it's very much like the attack energies. And then you have the attack energies magnifying all of it. But what it can cause us to feel, especially as beings who have battled against so much of this, it can make us feel as if we're not moving forward. It can make us feel as if we are being taken back into the same old situation. That's not true. Only for as long as you don't allow it to be true. You see, the powers that were the enemies, whatever you want to call them at this point, they have always relied on you falling into an energy of fear in order to bring about their manipulations to your fields. So for as long as you are not doubting yourself and your divine power and your truth, and taking yourself out of alignment by believing all of the false evidence appearing real, all of the stuff that's kicking up and wanting to attach to fear, as long as you stay in faith, those things can't stick to you. And even if they come into your reality, they will leave almost as quickly as they come. So this does not mean that you are, especially if you are working through denser energies, because some of you, you may have already overcome some of the energies that have been kicked up. For some of you, your timeline is a little bit farther behind, so you're feeling this more. Again, like I said, the shift in these collective energies are always going, how they affect us personally is always going to be to the level of the density of what it is that still needs to be cleared in us surrounding a specific energy. So right now, we are being dealt with in the energy of clearing lack mentality and poverty mindsets, as these energies that we've been calling in and activating in the earth open up our ability to recover and recuperate everything that's ours. And as such, what comes up around that, especially if you've lived in these cycles of accumulating and having things snatched from you, all of that trauma is kicking up with those energies. And ultimately, it's kicking up because divinely it's there for us to recognize, acknowledge, and release, because that energy, as a divine being, you are not in lack, you are not impoverished, you are none of those things. You were programmed against your conscious consent to believe that about yourself and the world, but it's not true. So as such, all of that stuff is being kicked up, and if you're not aware that you're just here to observe it and release it and see that it's been in your fields and it's time for it to go, you can get sucked back into thinking it. And ultimately, this is the only tool that your enemies have against you right now, because a lot of them cannot enter your energy fields. But as these things kick up, these energies of lack that have been, the foundation, no energy of the foundation of your feelings and thoughts about lack and yourself in the world, as these things kick up, they're wanting you to still doubt yourself and to still not believe that your divine abundance is here, that you are abundance. They want you to still fall into your matrix personality, so that you then attach to these energies of lack and you bring it in for yourself, because you're powerful. Remember, you're powerful. Whatever connects to your heart space is what you actualize. And so at every turn, the main point of attack right now is to try to get to the heart. But you get to the heart through the mind. You get to the heart through the thoughts that build up an energy, and then you attach a feeling. That's the heart energy, because the heart is what projects. So be aware of that. It's a really good time, and then I'm going to go into the reading. It's a really good time to make sure that you are doing heart clearing work, clearing your heart field of all of those energies that attach to your goodwill and sentiment, especially those ones that had you under the illusion that they loved you, because those are the ones that are trying to get into your energy to drag you down right now. And whether they're doing it because you still have contact with them, or whether it is through dreams, it doesn't matter. This is the point of attack. Can we attach to their sentiment again to take them down? That's what's happening. But it's also an attack against the mind, because what it's doing is that it's wanting to create an energy of sentimentality around the fact that you're not capable of moving forward and being able to have everything that's coming to you. It's almost like it's not possible for you to do without them, or because you're moving in this energy, you owe them something. There's all manner of intricacies of emotions and binds that are trying to come through the mental and the emotional body. So through your mental body right now, the energies that are wanting to attach to your thoughts, or for you to think are thoughts of your own, or, oh no, I'm not worthy of this, or, oh no, I owe this person something, or, oh no, this is happening all over again, I'm about to lose everything. All of those are the thoughts that are wanting to come into your field as these dense energies kick up and reveal to you your own lack, or not reveal to you your own lack, but reveal to you the lack that was programmed into your matrix self. And it wants to give it to you on a platter to eat again and be like, you're still who we said you were. You know, you need us. And then some of them are using sentiment and all this other stuff. So be aware, because this is the battle that you're coming up against. And one of the ways, like I said, you can deal with it is by taking authority over your heart space, especially right now, because a lot of them are trying to attach to your heart strings. Because if they can pull at your heart strings, they can mess with your energy. They'll try to get you first through the mental energy. They will always try to get you first through how you think about yourself, but then they will always try to join it with your feelings, whether it's with your sentiments for them, or your guilt, or, you know, feeling like you owe them for something. You know your history with these energies that are being used in your karmic situation to keep you stuck in the matrix. So be aware, because we are shifting now into things changing on the physical. So a lot of what has been happening up until now, you were intuiting, you were sensing, you were getting all the synchronicities, and now it's about to be birthed into real time. And for some of you, it already has begun, but it's going to pick up, okay? So with all of that, like 17 minutes in, that's not even the downloads. I didn't go into the fullness of the actual downloads, but I feel like I need to share that message, because this energy can be really confusing. But you need to know that you are the Ace of Swords. You have the ability and the tools to cut through the fuckery and the confusion. And a really smart thing to do when you feel confused is just sit with it for a second and try to see what it's showing you. Because a lot of the time the confusion wants an emotional reaction out of us, so that if we're in our emotions, we're not balanced. But if you can be calm in the midst of the storm and see where the storm is coming from, and see what the storm is doing, and see how you can use the storm to actually timeline jump, then you're at an advantage. Because really, remember that all of this is for your own activations also. And really something that's coming in, I was writing about it in the Daily Alchemy members portal yesterday or Monday, I forget, but we are learning, I think it was Monday's message, we're learning how to timeline jump. We're learning how to go back in time and be around people who are in timelines that we've graduated from, and not get stuck and not fear. We're learning all of this because it's time for us to go back into the real world. So we're learning how to move within the context of many timelines that are open right now, without getting lost and losing where we are in our own timeline. And the only way we can do that is by exposing ourselves now. So that's where many of us are. And this is where the fear is rising too, because we've been in hermit mode. We've been in highly protective mode, where we could protect ourselves and control our environment. And now many of us are being readied to no longer be in hermit mode. And as such, our intuition, our faith, our ability to not only intuit energy, but also to understand and overstand how to maneuver through it, all of that is coming up now. Those lessons are where we're being fine-tuned. Okay, so I've been picking up on a lot of Metatron energy, Archangel Metatron energy, sacred geometry energy. There's something new that's happening for those of you who connect with, like you know that you are some of the original architects of this earth or of the universe, or you carry the sacred geometry that created all of this. For those of you who are aware of this, the activations that are coming through for you right now are crazy. They're very, very intense because you carry the templates that we need in order to lay out the geometry for this new reality. They told me to go into the Keepers of the Light cards first to begin with. Look at this, guys. We've got Gaia coming out. Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet. Come back to Earth. Stay grounded. So yeah, right now we are all being called back to Earth. And what I mean when I say that, again, is like I said before, a lot of us have been dealing with these energies, 2121 on my clock. We've been dealing with these energies etherically. We've been dealing with them in the mental planes, in the emotional planes, in the context of our thoughts and our feelings and the projections that other people have been sending us that they thought were invisible because they're thought projections and thought forms and emotional forms, and they thought that, they're under the illusion that that's not energy or that it can't be seen and therefore it's not real or whatever. Well, all of that shit is becoming real, and it's becoming real in so many ways. For one thing, you are calling the truth of who you are. I've been saying this for a while. You are calling the truth of who you are divinely in the cosmos into your earthly reality. The reason why so many timelines have to open right now, why so many timelines have to be in existence, is for you to reconnect with all of your cosmological identities across time, space, reality. It's almost like some of you are in this energy of kind of like, how they have a job fair or an open school fair where you go from desk to desk and they're trying to sell you on, if you're a parent, for example, and you're looking to send your children to certain schools, especially fee-paying schools. They love to come and do their fairs and invite you to their fairs, and each school is telling you why it would be a good fit for your child, right? Why you should be paying X amount of dollars or pounds or wherever you are in the world, rupees. I don't know why that came up. Do rupees still exist? Okay. Sorry, maybe I have some of you are in India or the Indian subcontinent. Hello. But they're wanting, or maybe that's your ancestry. Okay. They're wanting to sell to you their school, right? Or they're wanting to get you to be interested in working for them because they see something in you that they want, ultimately. Okay, this is kind of like you're at a fair, right? But it's not, it's this energy of you being able to pick and choose the aspects of self from other dimensional existences or timelines even, or incarnations. It's almost like you're shopping for the parts of you that you want to call into being right now, if that makes sense. It's like there's this energy of that ability, and when you do that, you will bring that back with you onto the earth planes, into your earthly reality. And they're showing me, like, I don't know who this is for, but like, how how sometimes when these energies have tried to bind to you in your dreams, it's because what they're trying to do is astrally contract you or attach something to you in the astrals that would cause you to come into your physical reality with that intact in your energy field in order to create certain situations for you. It's like you're doing the opposite. So for some of you, this is going to be activations that are coming through dream time, through meditation. You are going to be able to access parts of your cosmological identity that spans dimension, spans space and time, in order to bring it into earthly existence. So that's another message about coming to earth. The third message is that for many of us, the only way we could survive the harsh density of this planet, given the fact that many of you descended in order to come here, meaning that a lot of ascension beings have returned to the earth planes. In other words, some of you have had your lessons, you completed your earth cycle and you descended to other higher dimensional living. And you've already existed in those timelines. And for some of you, because the earth needed your energy specifically for this ascension, especially those of you who hold the sacred geometry from the beginning of Earth's from the dawn of the age of all ages that began all of this. For those of you who hold that, you descended into this reality. And descension, when you've tasted something so high, it has an effect on a being. It has effect on your soul, which is why so many divine beings find themselves lost in energies of dis-ease or energies of addiction, because the density of this earth is so hard on you that it's difficult for you to adjust and find your place within the denseness of energies. I hope I'm making sense. I hope you're following me. So as such, a lot of the time, these are the beings who dissociate, spend a lot of their times, especially when they find spirituality, they spend a lot of their times in the ethers. And this is where a lot of stuff can happen, where you can, lose yourself because you lack grounding and all this other stuff. It's all part of the lesson of knowing how to move in your divinity in a grounded way. But in order to deal with all of the trauma and the density of this planet, we would escape. We would escape. And as such, many of us left our bodies. You see this also with people as they go through really horrible trauma. They will literally leave their bodies so that they don't have to feel it so intensely. And now it's time for us to recognize our bodies are safe. For some of us, our bodies have not felt like safe spaces. And indeed, this has been a message that's been happening for months. It's like we're landing again in our bodies for the first time. And for many of you, beyond the fuckery that people are trying to throw at you, part of the issues with the root chakra and feeling unstable and living in fear and all of that, it was you reacclimating to coming back into your body too. And so this whole Alpha Omega portal, the switch in the energies that have come in with the equinox and the new year, are making it safe for us to be who we are again. It's making it safe for us to be in our bodies again, right? But at every turn, there are energies that are going to want to tell us otherwise. And then it's our job to rise up in faith and say, that ain't true. That ain't true. That doesn't align with my divine truth. Saint-Germain, exactly, karma releasing. Karma releasing. So this is what we're going through. We're going through a deep purge right now because the new energies are here. Because the new energies are here, they're shifting out some of the things we haven't seen to accommodate for their firmer rooting in our reality. Move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. So yeah, for many of us, we're being asked right now to release the stories around the karmics. Let it go. And this is going to always depend on where you are in your own healing journey. And not that you let it go in the sense that you forget it happened to you, but it's time to let it go and release it in the sense that there's a new cycle that's opening for you, and Spirit wants you to be able to enjoy that. And we cannot enjoy what is opening up for us if we still have a foot in what's going on with someone else. So this energy is facilitating those really niggly connectors we have to these karmic cycles and karmic energies. It's helping to dissolve them. It's helping to dissolve them so that we can move on and we can release these energies. For some of you, if you work with Saint Germain or the violet flame, you're being called to do that. For some of you, you're being called to connect with the violet dragons. For some of you, you're being called to use this energy, especially with where you are in the world, to further enhance the clearing of the land. Is there anything else you want to say? It's so fitting that Gaia came out, huh? We have soul expansion. Look at all of this Indian energy coming out after I just was talking about it. Look, we have soul expansion, and we have we have Mahavatar Babaji, soul expansion, and we have Radha. Okay? And these beings in this deck are represented as being, as you can see, they are from the Indian subcontinent. So, very interesting that energy was coming up. A lot of energy connected to Hinduism has been coming up for me recently on a personal level, but I'm also noticing it collectively as part of the energy too. I haven't fully unraveled what that means collectively yet, but I know that it's definitely been a big part of what I've been being shown. So Mahavatar Babaji, your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. So this, again, is the energy of a being that is very much connected to the sacred geometry of all of creation and existence. So remember I said to you at the beginning, some of you who were the original architects who hold these codes. What's going on right now has been a huge activation for you because you're really being expanded. The more these energies are trying to expand you, the more you're going to feel the resistance and the densities, the more you're going to recognize. And for those of you who aren't having, issues, that doesn't mean you're not expanding. It just means that the activations that are being targeted in you are different than other people. So for some of us, we need to expand in this area of being more connected to the earth. And we need this expansion because we have certain DNA activations coming in. And for others, they've been more comfortable in their earthly experience. So they don't need the expansion in that area. And so when different activations come in for different purposes, they're going to affect us. They're going to expand us where we need to expand. And whenever there's extra expansion, there will always be dense energies that are kicked up. We have Radha. Some of you are being made ready for your divine partner to come in. And oftentimes when I say divine partner, I will say, oh, it could be business, it could be love, it could be friendship. This is very much feeling. This energy feels here. Like this is either for those 2133, as I say this is either for ascended masters are all over this. This is either for those of you who are already in divine union and the upgrades you need in order to activate certain energies into Gaia by way of your union that you were not able to access before, because these activations, what they do is every time they remove these densities, they are actually uncovering more of your power. And so until that density is removed, you don't have access to that power. The power is always there in you, but it's dormant until those energies are removed so it can be activated. So for some of you who are already in divine union, you couldn't access these codes before because of the density, and now it's available to you, okay? That's for some of you, but for many of you, what is coming in here is that those of you who are here to seed these new earth relationship, financial dynamics by way of a romantic situation. And the reason I say romantic is because I'm picking up here with this Aries energy, the sexual alchemy that occurs between two souls that has been written in order for certain things to unlock in our reality. And if you know me at all, if you've been rolling with me at all, you know I'm not a fan of this twin flame thing. I'm not. I believe in divine partnerships. I don't believe in the narratives that have been fed surrounding twin flames, because the twin flame energy is very rare, for one thing. And for another thing, it's been a real commercial point that they've used in order to keep people stuck in karmic cycles and out of their divine truth, in order to continue to feed the matrix grids of woundedness. So for that reason, I try to stay away from the twin flame energy. But when I see something coming up, when I sense something that has to do with this sexual alchemy that is a part of, and bear in mind, that the sexual alchemy I'm talking about, this is also between beings a lot of the time who are the architects. This is what's coming through. It's been coming through for me since the sun moved into Aries. And this isn't that it makes them better, or, they're more worthy of love or anything. If any of that comes up for you, then that's woundedness. I'm sorry to say, but it is. Because the point is that we're all special and unique in our own ways, but some of us have different jobs. And some people are here to come together with another person in sexual alchemy, because it's like each of them have different architecture codes that when they come together, they unlock on the planet all of our abilities to have higher love, if that makes sense. So when you think about the grandiosity of that, then you know that the twin flame phenomenon can't be true, because this is like a select group of people who signed up for this. This isn't obviously everyone, and that's not to say that other divine partnerships aren't doing really important things on the earth. This is to say that these energies are kind of like gateways. They're opening it up so other divine energies can do that too. These are the energies of people who are way showers. Okay? The way showers are the ones who go through the densest of energies to light a way so that other divine beings can follow. I hope that I'm making sense. So with Radha, we got rediscover a lost part of yourself, experience relationship, harmony, and healing. So there's something harmonious occurring, even beyond those architects that are coming together to sew these new earth codes of divine love that are also very rooted in value. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, the new earth financial system is rooted to your frequency. It's about your frequency. You are wealth. I've already said that. You are abundance. The more you tune into that, the more your frequency rises. And the way you tune into that, and this is how it's so smart, it can't be faked. It can't be bought, it can't be borrowed, it can't be stolen. The way you tune into that is by tuning into a higher value system. So the old world taught you how to devalue, taught everyone how to devalue something else in order to appear to be more valuable. That's why we see all of this stuff with advertising and competition. That was very purposeful, because for as long as those energies were there, it kept people out of really accessing divine love, longing for it, becoming more wounded because of their longing and inability to access it. But for as long as those energies were rampant, they couldn't access it. So the new earth value system requires for us to not only notice, but to seek for the value in everything. Those beings who seek for the value in everything are not easily disappointed, because they know that in everything there is value. In every experience there is value. The quicker that you're able to glean that value, it's like going through a Mario game and snatching a coin. The quicker you're able to get the value out of the person, out of the situation, the quicker you're able to move. That's how you enlighten. That's how you spread your light. That's how you give value back to others is by finding the value first and foremost in self. Because when you find the value in self, you will easily find it in other people, in rocks, in the sky, in everything that happens, everything that comes into your reality in your fields. It's kind of like moving forward. Can you find the value in it, the true value in it? That's the way forward. That's how you accumulate more of your wealth frequency, is when you are able to tune into the value. Because here's the thing, there's value in everything and everyone, even if they choose not to express it in ways that are beneficial to everybody. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? So if somebody comes on your path and they're trying to rattle you, and you get rattled and you miss the value or what it is that, you know, what we used to say is it's the hand of God. Okay, so they come into your fields, they've rattled you, they're an asshole for doing that, they're a jerk, maybe they did it on purpose, you know, maybe they are, they like to participate in low vibrational energy. Okay, that's their shit. Now, what is the divine showing you? Where is the value you need to accumulate today from the situation? You get what I'm saying? That's kind of tuning into your alchemy energy. And the more you're able to do that, the more you tune into joy, the more you recalibrate yourself to joy, because you're able to better compartmentalize what belongs to you, what is divinely yours, and what belongs to other people. And then you're also not so easily ruffled by shit outside of you, because you realize that your energy field is your own home. And nobody, no thing, no one has the ability to take you off kilter for as long as you are staying rooted in your value, because a person who's rooted in their value isn't easily moved by others who are trying to devalue them or take them out of their appointed position on their own throne over self. So your value system in the new earth is very much in connection with your ability to be an alchemist, your ability to maintain your own frequency, maintain your own value. It's why we've been going through all of this stuff that's designed to help us to accrue our value and to really get very deep lessons of ascension, because it's been in preparation for what was coming to unfold. Okay, so let's go into the Menology Oracle. So, for example, there were a lot of attacks this time around on money again. People trying to put blocks in your money. Energies trying to put blocks into your money. That's a lot of energy that I was picking up on. Death energy to your money. First and foremost, I want you to know that they only attack things that are a threat to them. So if they're attacking your money, that's because there's something that's a threat to them. That's one thing. That's one way to recognize the value in the attack, is that now you're seeing more and more how close you are. But it's all in your perspective, right? Second of all, it's designed to help fine-tune your faith. When something comes into your field to rattle you because it wants you to believe a lie, for you to then manifest that lie into your reality, are you going to grab onto the lie, or are you going to grab onto your truth and hold on to it until the lie dissipates? Which it must. When you bring truth and you stand in it, the lie must flee. So there's a building of that happening also. But there's also showing you where there are energies that still need attending. So whenever there are attacks that come through at this point, they're all here to fine-tune us and to see how strong our belief is in where we're going. And that's working on both sides. It's because on the one hand, your enemy wants your faith to be weak enough that you fall back under their command. But your divine guidance, source, mother, father, God. They want your faith exercised and expanded with that. Want your faith expanded, because with expanded faith comes expanded energy. With expanded energy comes the ability to hold more beauty. Remember, here we go. It's a vibrational scale. Your energy field needs to stay very small to keep you in shame, but it needs to be grown quite big to entertain energies like love, joy, peace, enlightenment. So every time these energies come that feel like an attack, they have a dual purpose. On the one hand, your enemy wants you to shrink back into your old matrix self, so that you can be taunted by shame and commanded. But on the other hand, the divine wants you to rise in your faith so that your energy can be expanded, so you can hold more of what requires a higher vibration or a larger bandwidth, such as love, joy, and peace. It's all about helping you to find your way back to love, joy, and peace in a way that is sustainable. Everything in the matrix reality made those energies, you were not able to sustain them. Nobody was able to sustain them. But we're moving, as we expand, we are moving into the ability to sustain love, joy, peace, and all of these divine energies that many of you we're used to having around the clock. And this is why this density has been so harsh to your soul. So you're being readied for that. But the only way to do that is to expand your field. And if you've given birth even to another life, like whether a human or otherwise, you know that in order to birth something, you must expand. And that expansion is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because if it's physical, it's literally stretching you, and that can be physically uncomfortable. But it's also uncomfortable because it's territory you've never been into, and everything in your human condition wants to pull back, to go back to what you know, because you've been conditioned by fear. And so it's like we have to bypass all of that to get into these higher states of consciousness where we are able to unlock these frequencies that are ultimately our own, but cannot be sustained without us being able to sustain these higher energies. And in order to do that, the lower energies that were keeping us small must be shifted. I hope I'm not going around the mulberry bush here and I'm making sense. We do have full moon in Aquarius. Show the world the real you. I'm hearing that Diana Ross song, I'm coming out. I want the world to. And full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. So these are the energies of the throat and the solar plexus. 5th and 3rd chakra that actually blue, yellow become green. It's the heart. It's the merging. These are the 2 last checkpoints for the merging of your divine and earthly reality to come forth. And that's very much connected to the Leo and the Aquarius energy. So with the full moon in Leo, don't let your woundedness, your childhood woundedness, the old narratives about you and the old belief systems that you have created around that narrative, don't allow them to stop you from being big. Remember in the last reading I said, it's not a time to be small. Don't let these energies come in and crush you. It's time to expand. And expansion feels good and it feels bad. It feels good to be able to be yourself, right? But that also comes with different energies, especially like if you're dealing with people who don't like seeing you big. So there's always something to deal with in reaction to. So it's almost like this is saying now, do not become small again because you've expanded now, and then there's something that wants to come into your fields in reaction to you expanding to cause you to be small again. This is where a lot of that wounding, childhood wounding programming is kicking up now to see, do you still believe it? Are you still in alignment with this old version of you that others created in order to control your narrative? Or are you truly taking the reins back? Are you going to let these energies squash you again and take away your faith? Or are you mature and ripe and ready to deliver this crowned version of you, your I am that I am? Because at every turn right now, there are going to be attacks against that happening, just like there were attacks against Jesus being born, and there were attacks against all of the firstborn Israelites in the book of Exodus. They wanted to stop the birth of something big. And so at every turn, they can't really stop it anymore. That's why once it happened with the Israelites, they started to actually deal with the actual babies. They couldn't intercept the birthing of them, but they could try to get rid of the life that came forth. And they're trying to intercept right now before you're even born. But they have no power outside of what it is that you give them. They're trying to once again use your own mind and emotions against yourself and your birthing process. The bud, oh my gosh, look at this. Potential, promise, it's about to happen. Keep going. These energies want you to feel like you can't bring your harvest to fruition, like you'll stay a bud forever, that these I'm seeing one of these big birds of prey swoop down and just take. That's not the case. It is written energy. There's a promise here. It will happen. It is happening. Okay, keep going. Morning dew, clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. Yes. So this is all about that Ace of Swords energy. You have the ability to bring the clarity in the midst of this confusion that is wanting to distract and take you off out of alignment with your divine power and your divine truth. By the way, I am using this beautiful deck. It is the Rose Oracle. This was a gift also, so thank you to the person who blessed the channel with this deck. It's a beautiful deck. It's a Rebecca Campbell deck. Rebecca Campbell. So we have codes of the seeds. The blueprint is within you. Take the next step. Do you see how she's in the womb? Literally. Do you see how she's hanging? She's suspended. This is us, guys. This is us. Do you see how it's almost like she's being released from the heavenlies, and the earth is all lit below, ready to receive these codes that are going to be birthed through her and into the grids of the planet. Amazing. We are nature. Look at this. Becoming grounded. Embodiment. Living in connection. I said it. We are coming back to earth. We are coming back to earth. For some of you, you are the gods that are returning in human form. You're coming back to earth. You are the former leaders of the golden age that they wanted to keep asleep, because for as long as you were asleep and in lower vibrations, this DNA wouldn't be activated for the new earth. You're up. You're in receiving mode. And as you're in receiving mode, you're becoming the bridge. You're bringing your divine wisdom and truth back onto the planet. This is exciting. The wasteland, sustainability, slow down, tend to your garden. So we're learning, like I said, we're learning how to do this in a sustainable way. We're learning how to sustain states of joy. We're learning how to access and sustain this frequency of wealth, especially because so many of us have lived in this grave imbalance because we've had so much coming against us. We're learning again, and this is why it feels uncomfortable, not only because we're being stretched, but because every time there's a shift that pushes us deeper into our power, we deal with the trauma that originally kept us out. And when that trauma surfaces for us to see, it's so, I don't want to say easy, because it's not even about easy or difficult. It's tempting to fall back into believing that we're still in that place. But remember, I said we are also learning how to timeline jump. We are learning how to visit those states of trauma. And because we know we no longer live there, we can go. It's like when you first move out of the parental home and you become an adult. and you go back there and you don't live there anymore, you can leave. The same rules that bound you once upon a time when you were a child, they no longer stand because it's not your home anymore. But you can still go in and you can still say hi, you can still visit your parents, but you're not underneath the energy of their jurisdiction, which is their home, right? That's just a simple example, but the point is that you have the ability to travel to these dark energies from your past, whether it is experiences or whether it is interfacing with those people within reason, because we ain't trying to get back into karmic cycles, but I'm talking about like some of you are working with these people that are karmics, and it's not time for you to physically move, but you can go into work now and you can deal with this person and realize that you have to descend in order to deal with them, but you're not here to stay descended. Once you walk away from the conversation, you ascend again. And when I say you descend, I'm not talking about coming down to their level. I'm talking about you are moving from a higher timeline into their timeline because their consciousness is limited. Their consciousness is limited. They cannot come up and see you where you are. So you must come down, visit them for a second, and then go back up to your throne. You're not there to sit around in lower timelines where others are wanting to trap you because they refuse to expand their own consciousness by healing their own energy. That ain't your story anymore. So you are able to travel. You can go all areas. Okay, 2 more things I want to do, and then I'm gonna close up shop with this tonight. They asked me to go into my herbal deck at the beginning of this reading, so let me go into it, and then let me get you an Abundance Angels deck. Abundance Angels card. Marigold, Calendula, yes. I know you can't see that very well. I'm sorry about that. But marigold and calendula is a solar herb. It's a herb of Leo. It's a herb of the solar plexus. It's here to bring brightness. It's here to dispel darkness. It's here to keep the darkness out that would try to come in to dim your brightness in any way. Marigold is also a very gentle lymphatic cleanser. So in that it helps to get certain energies flowing and moving that are here to sustain your own balance. So it's interesting. It's also here to illuminate and to bring truth, okay? But it's here also to lift your spirit. And when you're lifting your spirit, you're lifting your vibration. You're coming up to love, joy, and peace, and to protect against those energies that want to tear you down. So again, we're getting the same kind of energy coming up with the plants, okay? So we have feverfew, we have cloves, and we have ginger. So cloves is all about commanding your own energy and taking control over your own creations. So the cloves are here to remind you that you are the magician. At every turn, these energies want to attack your ability to hold on to that fact. And cloves is here for you to assert your own dominion over self. Feverfew. This shows me that there is energy being sent towards you to cause accidents, confusion, infirmity. All of it is to try to mess with your state of balance. The clove is here to reinstate that. For many of you, again, this energy that's being sent, it's mental fuckery, mental confusion, psychic attacks, thought projections, trying to get you to think in old ways and make you think that's still your mindset, when really it's these energies that projected this onto you in the first place, wanting to project it onto you even more for you to drag yourself back. And so this feverfew, it's like it wants you to trip up on your own. It's like it wants you to trip up on your own wonderfulness is kind of what I'm seeing. It's like it wants you to trip up on what it is you're creating, what it is you're doing to move forward. It's wanting you to have a setback, and it's wanting you to be the bringer of that setback into your reality. We have ginger. I love ginger. This speaks to me of ancestral help. Ginger is also dragon energy. Ginger is also something that moves shit the fuck out of the way that's not supposed to be there. Ginger, in terms of like physiologically speaking, is one of those herbs that we use in herbal medicine to deliver the medicine from another plant really quickly, because it gets the circulatory, it moves through blood quickly. So if you want to get another herb into a tissue faster, for example, you would take it with ginger. You would use ginger especially in tincture form. You use ginger in the tincture because the ginger is a transporter to get that. It's almost like you can think of it as like, you know, how you have those, like an ambulance, or you have when politicians come into town and they have their special armored vehicles that have the sirens, and they move through traffic, they cut through traffic, they put their siren on or whatever, and they maneuver through normal traffic, but they don't have to obey the laws. That's kind of what ginger does. It gets things to places fast without a holdup. And this again is speaking to me about this energy of timeline jumping. You are here. Like I said, you can go to all places. You can put your siren on and move through these energies. Ace of Swords energy, Archangel Michael energy. You can move through these things. You're protected to do that now. The only way you will falter is if you lack faith in your own power. You have the ability to go back in time, to go into other timelines. You have the ability to jump all around and not be moved back into old places, but you have to know this. You have to know this. And the ginger is helping you to move through things clearly, cleanly, quickly. Okay? Let's get you an Angels of Abundance and we'll wrap it up. So this is a time with all of this earth energy, this physical energy. These are things that are being recovered that affect our material reality. This is to do with our health. This is to do with our money. This is to do with the circulation of collective wealth. This is to do with all of these things. This is to do with our health systems, our institutions. All of this stuff is coming up now to be dealt with. There's been a lot of unrest around these institutions and these systems. And now with this energy, it's being facilitated to come up with actual real-time solutions. This is what's opening the window to all of that. Okay? Let's see. Oh. So at the bottom of the deck, we have unlimited ideas. Unlimited ideas. Your mind is one with God's infinite mind. Therefore, you have complete access. Kind of sounds like what I said, right? You have complete access to unlimited ideas, guaranteed to bring blessings. All you need to do is to take divinely guided action to allow these ideas to come to fruition. You have access to all areas because you're an infinite, multidimensional being who is learning now how to move in those energies again. You are remembering. You are remembering, and the blocks to all of that is coming up, and that's what is wanting to reblock you, but it can't for as long as you push it out the way and you're like, I don't think so. I know who I am, and I know that this was a part of my old reality, but this isn't part of who I actually am and what I came here to be. And anything that is getting in the way of me living in divine alignment with my truth and what it is that I was sent divinely here to do at this time of ascension, anything that tries to get in my way, I call karmic justice on. I call divine justice on. It's out of divine order. And it ain't going to put me out of divine order because it doesn't know how to get into divine order itself. This is how you have to be. This is how you have to move with that mindset. If it's not in alignment with who you know you are divinely, then it's not. Then it's in your way. Pay yourself first. Make yourself your most important financial obligation by setting aside a portion of your income every time you are paid. This loving form of self-care ensures that you'll have savings to invest in your present and your future. This is all to do with the energy of putting yourself first and having faith in who you are also. And this extends also in the energy of how you deal with your finances and how you will deal with, bringing all of that into divine balance. We do have at the center abundance mindset. If you think of your abundance as something that happens in the future, then it will always be one day away from you. Yeah. And this energy wants you to believe that. It wants you not to believe that you are already abundant, that it's already here, because that's the frequency you carry that you now are unlocking. They want you to think that this is something that is unobtainable, or that you can have a taste of and it can be taken away. They want to do all manner of fuckery in your mind to keep you running in the opposite direction through fear. But it says here, see, feel, think, and speak of abundance as something you already have in the present moment, and that is what you will experience. This goes back to what I was saying before. An abundance mindset is what is going to raise your true abundance and wealth frequency. Your I am abundance, your I am wealth frequency is activated, increased, sustained by way of an abundance mindset. And the abundance mindset is, again, your ability to find the value in everything. A person who finds value in everything is a person who increases their own sense of value and value system in order to hold larger amounts of value in material form. Successful funding. Your idea is divinely guided and supported by the same infinite wisdom of God that gave you the idea. Do not allow money concerns to prevent you from turning it into reality. Crowdfunding, partnerships, and other investments are available to help you. So yes, many of you, what is coming towards you now, coming towards many of us in different ways, are divine partnerships, romantic, business, etc. And so a lot of this energy, it's projection, it's trying to make you feel, it's trying to make you decrease yourself in your own values so that your energy field is not a match for what wants to come towards you. Don't succumb to it. It wants to get you back into the lack and poverty mindset that we were all conditioned and programmed into. But this particular activation that we've been experiencing by way of not only the Alpha Omega portal, as my guides like to call it, and the new moon and sun in Aries and the equinox. This activation is here to rid divine beings of these programs of lack and poverty that kept us stuck and therefore enabled others to steal our frequencies and manifest off of that energy for themselves. These activations are here to disable all of that conditioning and programming of lack and poverty mindset in us and in the earth planes. So I say that because for some of you, for some of us, I don't know, like we are so tied up in what it is that we're seeing with our eyes, monetarily speaking, and then we're trying to limit the dream in accordance with what it is we're seeing monetarily right now. And what we're being challenged to do is to let go of that idea, to recognize that if you've been given something divinely and you're here to enact it, then you will be supplied with everything you need to move forward and to be successful. And the only one who can get in the way of that is you at this point. It's me. It's the lack of faith we have about our own power and the divine plan. That's where they want to attach and attack. So for as long as we're holding on to our faith, our belief, our knowing about our power, our destiny, what we're here to do, they can't do anything. And the funding of your divine ideas is assured. You get it? We have to deal with this doubt and this fear that comes up around money and abundance. We have to deal with it because those are the energies that were sown in us to keep us in cycles. We have to see it for what it is. Say, I see you, lack. I see you, poverty. I see all of these energies that were sown into my being, and I do not accept them anymore. I am not a holder or a container for this shit. I am abundance. I am wealth. Who the fuck is you invading my divine truth? You get what I'm saying? So, yes, 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 yes. I hope that this message was helpful and insightful. I hope it empowered you. I hope it, gave you that Ace of Wands energy that is here right now. I hope that it activated that in you. I hope that it helped you to break out of any haze you've been under with these energies, because we've all been under it. I'm still coming up from under it too, But I hope that this message has helped to bring you Ace of Swords clarity. I hope you get all of the aces, okay? But yes, I hope that it's uplifted you tonight. And I'm sending you so much love. So much love and joy and peace. Like every beautiful thing under the sun, like I always say to you guys, right? So come out of any stupor that they've tried to put you in with their projections. And I want to tell you that all of nature knows what is happening now. Nature knows that something big is coming. I'm going to share this quick story with you, and then I'm going to go. On Sunday, I was walking on Sunday. Like I said, on Sunday was Mother's Day, and I had to go out to pick up something for my father for Mother's Day that he asked me to get. But anyway, I was out and about, and I was walking by the river here, and I noticed that there was this group of ducks who I always see because I talk to the birds. We're on good terms. But I noticed that they were all congregated together in a small space on the river bank, which is rare to see them all together like that, and definitely not in that area. And when I moved closer, I saw that there were these two geese. They're called Egyptian geese. And they're very interesting looking geese because they appear almost vulture-like. There's a real menacing energy about them. And when I say menacing, I mean they're not birds you want to fuck with. And geese in general, you don't want to fuck with them. But these ones are like, they have that real defensive, you better not energy, right? And I saw them, 22:11 on my clock, I saw these two Egyptian geese right in the center of this population of ducks. And I saw them all, they all had their heads out and they were looking to the left. And they were watching the waterway as if they were waiting for something. And when what they were waiting for didn't show up, the geese started to move. And as soon as they started to move, they didn't say anything, do anything. The ducks just cleared the path. And the geese moved to the opposite end of the bank. And the ducks all of their attention turned to the geese, and they're watching the geese. And the geese are now looking at the skies and looking to the left, looking to the skies, like they're waiting for something to land from the skies onto the earth plane. And I won't even tell you the story behind these geese because they show up at pivotal points in the collective energy. I've noticed this about them. And they carry a very strong guardianship energy. They carry the energy of like a security detail that is here to check things out before something comes. That's the energy. That's why they're menacing. It's like you don't want to fuck with them. They are the security detail that is ushering in something big onto the earth plane. So when they show up in my reality, I pay attention because I know something big is coming. Okay, so I say all of that because that was even what I was writing about in the Daily Alchemy Members Portal yesterday. All of nature is a-buzzing with the news. So whenever you feel like you are getting stuck in a haze of this energy as it's thrown at you, go outside into nature and pay attention to what the animals are doing, and you'll see that it's projections, and even the animals are fighting for you. I saw birds swirling around in energy again and again and again yesterday, and oftentimes when they do that, in my experience, what I've noticed is there's a dense energy in that area that they're trying to clear, because they do it in my area, especially over bridges where there's congested traffic. They will swirl. They will circle that area, and they'll do it for hours. I will come back and they'll still be doing it. Okay, so what you need to know is that these energies of protection, when I say that things have come onto the earth plane, even in those ways you might be picking up the levels of protection that have been stepping up for you. And even with this change of Mars moving from Gemini into Cancer on Saturday. This is the energy of heightened protection for your creations, heightened protection for what you're birthing, heightened protection of the divine mother energy in all of us, right? So be encouraged, be encouraged. For those of you who would like to donate a deck, that information will always be in the description box below. For those of you who would like to donate to the channel, my information, my PayPal and my Cash App are below. Thank you to those of you who contacted me about my Cash App not working. For those of you who've already Cash Apped me in the past, my Cash App has changed. I don't know if the other one's going to reopen, but they just closed it down for no reason. And I'm still, I'm appealing their decision. So in the meantime, I've opened up another one. It is correct below. Everything happens for a reason. It's here to put us back into some kind of alignment. So my new Cash App is actually the correct spelling of my name, because my previous one, I forgot the H at the end. So everything works out, right? That's the value in this. That's the divine alignment. So for those, I say it because for those of you who had my other Cash App, it's changed slightly, just so you know. And for those of you who contacted me because you wanted to make donations and you couldn't, I have a Cash App now, and I thank you for alerting me. I appreciate that. For those of you who would like to work with me, my website information is listed below. I do not take appointments or bookings directly through my site. There's a services page, which I invite you to go and look at and decide how it is you want to work with me, and then you can follow through by going either through the contact me page or sending me an email directly. My email address is in the description box below too, and then we can figure out, you know, a time if it's mentorship, or we can figure out, you know, what it is that we're going to do with other services too. What else? There's one more thing. Yes, Daily Alchemy Members Portal. If you'd like to become a member of my Daily Alchemy Members Portal, that is the one thing on my site that you can check out on instantly. I only ask that when you do that, that you shoot me an email or you put in the payment details your Instagram handle so that I can then invite you in. Okay, so I think that's it. 1:16:16 on my clock in terms of timing, and it's 10:16 on the actual time. So I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. Until next time, be well.